And so some of the all-time best, I mean, and I'm not asking you for your political leanings, but I mean, as far as like presidents that have done a great job at storytelling and presidents that have not done a great job storytelling, how would you talk about that?
Well, I come from the Chicago suburbs, as I mentioned, so I believe Abraham Lincoln was a phenomenal storyteller. We all know that story of Honest Abe and walking to return something and all of that. And that's what stories do. They show you instead of tell you. Instead of saying someone's honest, you show it in a story. And again, whether you like Bill Clinton or not, he was pretty well known for being a good storyteller and a great listener. And his famous line of, "I feel your pain." That's my impersonation of a Southern accent. That's a really good characteristic to have as a salesperson, is showing empathy for that. And if you think of Elizabeth Warren, Saturday Night Live did a really big spoof on her. Like, I got a lot of plans. I got a plan for this and a plan for that and an option for this, and overwhelm people. Too many ideas and not one clear, concise, compelling message, in my opinion.
And so, I mean, when you look at your life, I mean, obviously your life has changed over the last several years because you started to embrace social media, and you're embracing it a lot. And so the good, the bad, the ugly, what are people doing right on social media? What are people doing wrong on social media? Any tips? Because your audience you were talking to right now, John, is a lot of small business owners, a lot of people that are salespeople. I mean, most people that are watching or listening to this right now, they are salespeople. I mean, they make their living on commission, and they're trying to recruit people. They are trying to sell people. They're trying to get people influenced to their way of thinking. And so you've been on social media, and you watch it. I'm sure you consume a little bit of it. And you're seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Give your thoughts on that.
Well, I think your social media should be authentic to who you are. And if you're just a one-person company, don't pretend to be a big multi-billion-dollar company. And I think the more you are vulnerable in social media, and I'm certainly vulnerable when I give talks, the more people can relate to you. Listen, I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to wake up in the middle of the night and not know how you're going to make payroll or whatever the challenge is that you're solving. I think that if you make social media entertaining with humor, some music, sometimes little graphics, you can also create open loops in your social media. So in storytelling, an open loop is, when people introduce me at a keynote talk, they'll say, John Livesay met Michael Phelps, and he's going to tell us about what lessons he learned when he met Michael Phelps. So that's an open loop that gets started before I even get on stage. So in social media, we can say, maybe you have a 3-minute story, cut the story down to 3 1-minute segments and create an open loop at the end of that one. Find out what happens next tomorrow's post. And then they do that on TV all the time, right? On the next episode of Grey's Anatomy or whatever it is. So open loops are a great tool to use in social media to keep people engaged and want to come back.
And do you think it's a powerful tool that's really helping people, or do you think that it's a waste of time?
Oh, well, I don't think it's a waste of time. I've had many people say they've heard me on a podcast like this one and want to hire me as a speaker. I've had people say, oh, we watched your videos on LinkedIn or Instagram and want to bring you in. Again, it's knowing where's your audience. Is your audience on TikTok or are they on LinkedIn? And really targeting which social. I don't think you should try to be on every social platform. That's freaking exhausting and not targeted. I think the biggest mistake everybody makes is letting your self-esteem go up and down based on comments or likes. You can't be attached to that. If you feel it's a good piece of content, even if you didn't hit X number of, let go of the expectations of worrying about what other people think about you. And, know that you're going to get people that will criticize you. So you gotta, that there's a tall poppy syndrome. Do you know what that means? Have you heard that concept?
No.
So poppies typically all grow the same height, but if one takes to grow high, then somebody goes, oh, that's the one we're going to cut down. And so when you put yourself out there on social media, people go, who the heck do you think you are? Right. And you can get some anonymous comments, or, I had somebody say to me on one of my posts, that suit doesn't fit very well. I know, dude. I still felt that I'm not being hired to be an underwear model. I felt the content was good. I gained some weight during the pandemic. Forgive me. Right. So you have to really put up a little bit of a barrier to not take those comments personally and not try to please everybody.
Yeah, I think you look great, bro. So you're doing good.
Thank
I
you.
think the suit looked just fine. But it's interesting because I do a coaching program every Wednesday morning, and I was actually talking to everybody today, and I said the same thing. I said I've had more people say bad things about me in the last 25 years of me being in business. I've had more people hate hate comments, bad information. I mean, I'm terrible. They hate me. They don't like me. I've had people cancel appointments on me. I've been stood up on appointments. I've had every possible scenario. I told everybody this morning, I'm like, I've had more of that than all of you guys combined.
And I'm still standing.
And I'm still standing. I said, I've never died. I've never died. I've never gone to an appointment and died. I've never done a social media post and died. And every time, and I think, and this is why I think I've always been pretty mentally tough, because I've been willing to put myself out there, been willing to do things that some people might say is bad. And maybe it's just because I'm trying something new. Maybe because I'm experimenting, or I'm just, maybe sometimes I just want to be controversial. I've had posts on my Instagram where I knew going in, it was going to get a lot of hate. It was going to a lot of, discussion, where there's 50% of people on every discussion, right? There's 50% that totally believe in what you're saying. And there's 50% that thinks you're a total asshole, right? I mean, so it doesn't matter what it is. You're always going to get criticized, and especially when you're doing good. When you're on stage and you look good, and you're a great speaker, by the way. I mean, you're an amazing speaker, and I love the tone of your voice. I love just the clarity of the way you speak, and I just was very, very impressed with that. And so some people watching that, John, they will look at it, and then they'll look in the mirror and they'll go, I suck at that shit, right? So they got to find something wrong with you to kind of, like you said, the poppy seed, right? To just bring you down. It's kind of like those relatives that you start doing good, and then the relative goes, oh, who do you think you are? Are you a millionaire yet? Ever had that happen?
Oh, sure. Well, I tell people, unless you're the president of the United States, we all get stuck in traffic, and we all have red lights, right? Whether you're in an Uber or you're driving your own car. And nobody that I know really takes that personally. You don't go, oh, I can't believe I hit a red light. It's just part of life. And yet when we hit those red lights in our sales career, and people go, oh, it's a no, or as you said, a no-show, or whatever the disrespect might be beyond that. We don't take that. We can take that personally. But so my goal is to get people to go, it's just a red light, like in traffic. And so don't take those red lights in your business personally. And I think one of the tools I've come up with that I have found helps a lot of people, myself included, is what I call the 5-5-5 method. So you think of yourself like the movie director of your own life, and you zoom out and you say, somebody cut me off in traffic. I've seen people lose their mind over this. Talk about taking something personally. You ask yourself, will this matter in 5 minutes? How about 5 hours? How about 5 days from now? And man, if you're still obsessed about somebody cutting you off in traffic 5 days from now, you are not living a happy life. And so when we work on a big proposal and we get the no, right? And I've had teams that I've worked with say, okay, we're going to 5-5-5 this. We're going to let ourselves complain about this for the next 5 hours, and then we're never going to talk about it again. Because we have to be completely resilient and let go of that stuff, because you can still find yourself talking about it 2 or 3 weeks later. Can't believe that person didn't do it. Blah, blah, blah. That person hurt my feelings. And you just keep reliving it over and over and over again. So I wish I had this tool when my dad had died 10 years ago, because I thought, even now I would be like, well, yeah, 5 days from now, I was still pretty devastated. But you could do a 5-5 again. How about 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years from now? And I thought, oh, so if I could go back in time to my younger self, I'd say, 5 years from now, you're still going to miss him. But I promise you, you won't be this sad. And so the 555 can help a lot of us in personal and professional let go of things, get back up faster. And that's really the key, is letting stuff go.
If you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.